If I give a bank $100, what happens to that $100?
Before I answer the question, and we can just dive in and take a look at an example, banks have diversified portfolios. By that, I mean that for risk management purposes, they need to have a really broad spread of where their lending or investments go. So no bank puts 100% of the money that they have in their balance sheet into, say, fossil fuels, right? Or transportation, or agriculture, or another industry, right? So they need to have a diversified portfolio across a number of industries. On average, about 2 to 5% of a large bank's lending portfolio will be allocated to the fossil fuel industry. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at an example. This is an example of Barclays. It's one of the largest banks in the UK. And what you're looking at here is a balance sheet. So if we look at the liability section, you can see this line item, deposits from customers. At the end of last year, had £524 billion of cash they've taken as deposits from customers. And go up, so you can see this line item. This is how much they lent out in loans to individuals and businesses, 333 billion. Now, it's a little bit more complicated because there are different types of assets that they're showing in different line items, but really simplistically, that's what's happening here. Where does this money actually go? Barclays has really helpfully provided a breakdown of that lending by industry. It was 333 billion, 311 of that went to what they describe as carbon-related sectors, so high carbon emitting sectors. And you can see automotive, chemicals, metals, etc. And you can see they've got line items here for oil and gas refining, oil and gas extraction, oil and gas wholesale. It's worth noting that fossil fuel industry has different phases. So you start with extraction, then production, refining, transportation, downstream transportation, etc. So there's different subsectors. But at the bottom, what you can see is the total lending to the oil and gas sector is £8 billion. And that is about 2% of their total portfolio of commercial lending. Now, 8 billion maybe doesn't sound all that much, but there are 50,000 banks in the world, and across top 60 banks, we know that they funded $6.9 trillion worth of lending to the fossil fuel industry since the signing of the Paris Agreement in 2015. So it does all add up.